Hey, let's talk about doing cam bearings for a bit. So if you're going to install your own cam bearings, we'll go over a few little things here. They come in a box, obviously. When you get them, they should be in order. And you should have this little flap. The little flap will tell you the number, which is on the cam bearing, and the position that it goes in. Always check. Take them out, look at the number one by one, put them back in. I've had these come fresh in the box where they're not in the proper order. They usually are, but still just check. If you try to pound the wrong one in the wrong hole, you're going to end up with a problem, right? Next thing we got to talk about is the orientation of them. This is small block Chevy we're dealing with here, right? So they have an oil hole. Has to go in a somewhat specific spot. You're going to need to get yourself a cam tool. I'm going to use this one here today. You can buy these at your local parts store, whatever. They're inexpensive. They run about $100 up to, well, we got a hydraulic one that presses them in up to $1,800. But for you do it at home, which is what we're all about, it's all you need. You take the appropriate sized bushing. One of the things about these, if you buy one of these, you're going to find that after 3 or 4 bearings, engine jobs, the little rubber sleeve that goes on here, that is very important, it holds all of this expanding collet in place, is going to break. It's going to rip. Don't throw your cam tool out. Put a couple of wraps of black tape on there, and it works perfectly fine. It stretches as it expands. Don't do it without, because if you don't have this sleeve on here, these little flanges are not going to expand equally, and it's going to contact your bearing more in one spot than the other. It's going to put a big lip on your bearing, and it's just going to make a mess. So when that fails, don't throw your tool out. Just put some wraps of black tape on there. We slide our bearing on. We tighten this up. You have to do this in the block, but I just want to show you what to watch for here. Okay, so very important, when you put your bearing on here, and this is how you tighten this up, this is how this expands. Take a little bit of time. It's a bit harder too when it's in the block. Make sure that when you expand this now, that your bearing is seated on that flange all the way around. Make sure also that this flange is larger than the edge of the bearing. Okay? That's very important. Put a mark so you can see it when you're in there. This back one with the block upside down, this goes between 7 and 10. Take a little bit of oil. Run it around your bearing. Line it up. Make sure your mark is clocked proper. Slide your little tapered cone in there. That holds everything straight and true. Make sure you hold your cone in to hold that straight and true. I double check my orientation one more time and just ever so gently tap it in. So I'm going to do now, so I'm going to check to see how far in I've tapped it. I want that oil hole to line up with the groove in the block. Take your time. We're not racing the clock here or anything like that. And that's it. So that was position number 5. Now we're going to look at our chart. Should be the next one in our list here. So number 4 is 4-3. And there we go. I'm sure you can't see that on the camera, but the number's right there. Mark our hole so we can see it when we're in there. You don't have to tighten this up, just make that snug. Line up our orientation, our clock, whatever you want to call it. A little bit of light oil. Hold our tapered cone in and gently tap it in. Again, if you have to, if it takes a lot of energy to tap that in, something's wrong. We just check to see how far we've got that in. Okay, important tip, I think, before we go much further now, we're going to take a cam, put a little bit of oil on it. So if you've got one of them in there that's a little bit tight, you put your cam in and your cam doesn't turn proper, you don't know which one it is. So I'll put the back two in, and then I'll check my cam, make sure it rotates. And I use an old cam for this, because I don't want to be moving my new cam in and out many times. Make a simple little handle, make it easier to use. This way, if you have a tight bearing, you know which one it is. You can go back and replace that bearing if you've mushroomed it or something. If you put them all in, you're not going to know which one it is. Then you're going to have to replace them all. So there, we put that in. It turns nice and free, just the way it's supposed to. Gently and carefully remove it. Don't want to scuff your new bearings. Okay. On to the next one. So in the box, the next one should be there, but we're going to check the order just to make sure. So this would now be position number 3. The bearing should be 4-3. And it is indeed 4-3. Just a little bit of oil. It doesn't matter what you use on here. You don't have to get crazy and use your expensive assembly lube. Just put something on there so it slides in a little bit easy. Mark your orientation. expand your collet to hold it nice. Again, rotate it while it's in there. Make sure it's totally seated on that flange all the way around, or you'll end up putting a burr on your bearing. I'm not really sure how that sounds on the video because my mic is hanging right here, so it might sound like I'm hitting it very hard. You don't have to. If it sounds really loud, I'm not really tapping it that hard. And I'm just again checking how far I put it in, like the oil hole to line up with the groove in the block. On to number 2. Should be the next one in the box if they're in order. Position number 2, 4-2. And yes indeed, 4-2. A little light oil. Mark our oil hole. Just snug it ever so slightly, line up our hole. Slide our tapered cone in and gently tap it in. Check our cam before we go any further. And she turns beautiful. Now here's where things get a little bit different. Your front cam bearing has 2 holes. Again, so this is going to go at 7 and 12 as we look at the block this way. So, I hope you can see this. 12 and 7. Make sure that you put the right, if you put this one at 12, this one's going to be at 4. So how I always do that is I'll just mark the one that's going to be visible from here, the 12 o'clock one. Make sure this one's at 7 and put it in that way. Now the other thing that's a little bit different about doing this one is you can put it in this way from this end here, but you run a chance of it going in a little bit crooked. So unfortunately at this point, I have to take the engine off the stand, and just how I put the back bearing in, I'm going to come in through the back from here with my tool. I'm not going to bore you with videoing it. Maybe I will, we'll see. And tap it in that way. While you have your engine off the stand on a bench to tap that bearing in, at that point, before you put it back on the stand, make sure you put your rear core plugs back in, and make sure your oil galley plugs are in all back here and all that kind of stuff. And tap it in.